Looks like we're live. Maybe. Yeah, I think we are. Check the old Twitch to make sure. Because I can never seem to trust anything. There was a point in time where I had actually... I just screwed that up. There was a point in time where I had actually went live and didn't realize until like way far into the stream that my audio was all sorts of jacked up. Oh, come on. Where's my channel? So I usually like to start off these streams by checking to make sure everything's working properly before I just kind of start get into it, because you might hear an echo here. I'm pulling Twitch up here. Yep, yep, working good. Cool. Let's go ahead and shut this down. All right, things should be back to normal now. I gotta fix the position of my windows. So while I'm doing this, project we started working on last week is a Discord bot for my Destiny clan server that we're going to be using to try and follow different people on Twitter. Right now, I've got a couple of accounts that are being followed on there that I have to manually set up using if this and that. I don't want to be doing that. I'd like to set up a quick bot. I've been kind of on a bot rampage, if you will, lately. I've been trying to find reasons to create bots, so this kind of gave me the opportunity to do so. So yeah, there we go. We're going to get into it. I'm hoping to get to the point tonight where, looks like my audio is a little high. I'm going to tune this down a little bit. I'm hoping to get to the point tonight that I can actually follow somebody and actually start getting some tweets in from a specific person. So that's kind of where we're going to start. If you didn't watch last week's stream when I did this last Tuesday, what we did is we just did this kind of thing where we set up a bot. I regenerated the tokens just earlier today, so actually I did it last week and I copied it, pasted it back into the code now, but all this thing is doing is responding to a message. If I go into main.js here, client on message, just waiting for the message, and then what you can see here is I have this bang follow, which I'm using as my command in here. So if I do bang follow, and then, I don't know, something, right? What I would hope to get back is some kind of response. Which I didn't. So hooray for live debugging. So we're going to figure out what's going on with this now. I don't know what I might have done wrong. I do notice I don't have a client on ready, logged in as, I don't have any of that stuff. So let's do client on error and find out what this thing might be bombing out on us. I'm just going to console log it. Error. 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 Do console.log. I think this is the right syntax for this. And let's go ahead and start this guy back up. Logged in. Okay, which is interesting. I didn't get that same message from before when I was setting things up for the stream. So now it seems to have worked. And we could see that our socializer bot is online, so that's good. Now if I copy this same message into here, I should get a response, which I did. I don't know why it showed up down below there, but anyway, okay, so we're kind of back to the point where we were last week when we started this project. So again, the agenda for today is I'm going to update this thing using a Twitter package from npm, which I actually toy around with a little bit over the last week and a half, so I kind of got myself a little familiar with it, and we're going to see if we can follow somebody using that. We're going to try and stream some of their tweets in. Initially, we're just going to do it to the console so we can see them coming in, and then I'm going to just start forwarding them directly into the channel that we've selected here. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set it up so this way, using that follow command that I just showcased, kind of, we'll be able to specify somebody's tag on Twitter and see if we can start streaming messages in real time, which would be pretty cool. So that's the agenda for today. The other thing I had done last week is inside of my little demo Twitter account that I created, I went through the process of applying for a developer account, and they approved it, which is new because I've done some of this stuff before when it comes to Twitter developer accounts, and they've never used to do this. So this is something relatively new. But it turns out like right after I ended the stream, I got the email saying that I was approved. So yay us. Don't care about that. Not worried about that quite yet, but here's where we landed, right? So I've logged into my Twitter developer dashboard, and I want to go over to create an app. Let's see, let's go to apps. Let's create an app, and let's give this thing an app name. So what I've named my bot in Discord is Socializer Bot. So we're going to keep the same thing. Share a description of your app. This bot will monitor a number of Twitter accounts and forward their tweets into a Discord server channel. I don't know if that is 10 and 200 characters. It's not complaining, so let's assume it is so. I'm just going to put my URL in here because I really don't care. We're not going to use any, no, those callbacks are down here, I'm guessing. Doing OAuth. We don't need sign in. We don't need that. I don't care about any of this stuff down here. Tell us how this app will, you just don't understand. You got a description and then tell us how this app will be used. There you go. That's how the app will be used. Let's go ahead and create that. We're not doing anything with sensitive information. We're not using for government use or surveillance, and we're not going to, your apps will be posted to, we are kind of automating. If your app will be used, you should carefully follow. Okay, so we're not posting to Twitter. We're not automating anything out into Twitter. So that's cool. The app is created, and here is our app. I'm actually going to do something really, really quick. Never mind. I want to blast a link out to this on Twitter and see if anybody is interested in following the stream tonight. It's only take me a second. So when I used to do this, I used to have all sorts of different rules and things set up using Microsoft Flow to start blasting this stuff out automatically. But now I don't, or at least I don't know that I do or not. So I got to go back and find that old stuff and see. I'm rewriting a lot of my stuff in JavaScript, all those automation things that I had set up using one of my little side projects that I've got working. So live on Twitch, building a Discord bot. Got to have all the hashtags in there. So we can get the other bots on the Twitterverse to blast out that and hope that other people read them. Yep, already started getting some retweets, so that's cool. I don't know. I'm trying to kind of grow this channel. I don't really have any like big plans for it yet, but you know, I don't mind sharing information, and I don't mind you know, doing this kind of thing. This used to be fun when I was looking for a job, which I'm really not looking for one now because I landed a pretty cool job about 6 months ago. But anyway, it's good to have some of this stuff in your, I don't know, your war chest, I guess, if anything does ever happen down the road. So, okay, actually, I'm getting a little ahead of myself while I'm talking. This is the package we're going to use. It's just Twitter on Node. You see there's almost 33,000 weekly downloads of this package. So this is a pretty solid one. The four things we need to actually start the Twitter client are the consumer key, consumer secret, access token key, and access token secret. So let's go back into our project. I started copying out some of that stuff off to a side note that I have over here so I can easily bring it in. We're probably going to comment out a lot of this stuff just so we can actually, I'm going to comment all this out now just so we can start working with the Twitter stuff, and then we'll combine them a little bit later on. Hold on. We want to quit this guy. I'm going to clear the screen out in NPM. Actually, you know what I probably should also do? Let's zoom in on this a little bit. It probably would make it easier. Let's zoom in on this a little bit. Why are you not zooming? Appearance, zoom in, control. There we go. That'll probably make things a little bit easier to see for people. Adjust some of my margins here so I got good room to work. Oh, apparently I can't make that any better. Oh well. You can see there's some text that's just to the left of my face. Nothing's really there. I just opened up a second little terminal inside there, so our commands didn't go behind my face. All right, so npm install save Twitter, which is the package we're installing. Let's go ahead and let this do its thing. And while that is loading, I'm going to go back here and I'm going to copy and paste some of this stuff in here. So this actually is most of the code we're probably going to use. And I did a little bit of research on how to stream stuff. What I'm using my application for is for posting out to Twitter, which is not exactly the same thing, but it looks like we can use the streaming APIs of Twitter in order to we could use the streaming APIs in order to ingest data, and I can the idea is we can take those messages and then forward them on to Discord using our Discord bot. So for Twitter, we're creating a new client, and we need the different keys and secrets here. So we're going to do this. And note that when you're generating an access token in secret, what you're doing is you're signing in as yourself, kind of. So because I'm logged in under my test account 20dust, when I go ahead and click generate, this information that they give you here, this is going to basically authenticate the application as me or as 20dust too. So keep that in mind if you do decide to build something and go this kind of cheesy route. If you were going to build an application where you needed other people to sign into the application and authenticate as themselves to do things, you'd have to create a whole different authentication flow into your own web service, and that is way beyond the scope of what I care to do today. Maybe at some point, but not right now. So this is all the information we need, and maybe by the end of the day, the end of the night, if I have time, if I'm feeling up to it, what I might end up doing is get this thing loaded up in Azure DevOps, and I have my own Azure DevOps instance, and I have a bunch of neat little projects that I use, which will, all my projects, they use a similar Docker file template, and they create Docker containers out of everything and deploy it out to my server, so they're always running in the background. We might get to that point, and if we do, we'll get a lot of this information into an app.config.json file, which we can use config transformations to swap these variables out, so we can kind of have a test and production instance of this thing going. That was a lot of words, and I haven't taken breaths, so I'm a little out of breath now. But anyway, so we have that done. Param screen name. I'm guessing screen name Node.js means it's going to pull in that person. I don't think that that's what we want to do. Going back into our Twitter example here, we want to look at the streaming APIs, which is a little bit farther down here. Yeah, status filter. This is what we're looking for here. So if I bring this over into my code, I'm going to clear this out. Actually, I don't need any of this right here. So we're going to comment that out. I like to keep this stuff for safekeeping, just in line in case I do eventually need it down the road. But if I understand this properly, what this is going to do is it's going to create the Twitter client, and it's going to stream in anything with JavaScript in the actual tweet itself. So if this works, because we're just console logging this out, I would expect my console log to start blowing up with things, because JavaScript is one of those things that's pretty popular on Twitter. So I think that's kind of all we need to start that part, I think. So let's nodemon this, or actually I think I got this npm start. Fires up nodemon. So let's go ahead and start that guy up. And it broke client. Client has already been declared. Discord client. So we will do, we're going to rename this Twitter client. Twitter client. Tweeter client. Go ahead and save that. Nodemon's going to catch the changes and refresh it. And let's wait for magic. Yeah, there's one right there. O'Hare J just tweeted this out. Blockchain 3.0 start. Actually, let's blow this guy out here so we get a little more. We can see a little more in real time what's happening. You can see on the left-hand side the action, which is RT, I'm guessing, is retweet. Fiddlesticks, Kevin. I am a malevolent JavaScript engineer. That's a hard word. All right, anyway, so yeah, that's doing what I would expect it to, which is pretty cool. I'm following everything that's JavaScript. Now, the next thing that I want to do is I want to try and follow just a person, any person. I'm actually going to follow me because I want to. Except I don't know what my Twitter name is anymore. I changed it a couple times over the past bit. Brian MMDev. Okay. So I looked at this resource, which I'm going to drop in the chat for those interested, which seem to kind of outline how we can use different filters and whatnot. So if we use these filters, hold on, let me bring it over into my instance of Firefox over here. This guy here. This seems to be how you would create the filters for pulling in information. So the one that I pulled away from this was this from interior. Well, sent from Twitter account interior. So we're going to use this. inside of our filter here, and if we do from interior, let's do from Brian Dev, because that's my Twitter name, and then we're going to test this thing on my Twitter actually. So let's go ahead and start this guy up again. See what happens. Nothing's happening, which is, actually, that's fine. I don't expect anything to happen yet. But I do have this guy here. This is a little plugin I have for Twitter. So we're going to I'm just going to take the same page and just tweet it out here. It's tweets. We tweeted under my account. And let's see if this works. So it looks... Refresh my Twitter. I just have my Twitter up on the right-hand side. I want to make sure it's actually sent. Okay. It did share. Oh, actually, that's pretty cool. Restream put a link. Oh, that's neat. So for those of you who do stream, if anybody is watching that does this thing, I started using this service called restream.io, and I'm streaming out to Periscope, YouTube, and Twitch. And it actually dropped a live video stream into Twitter of me actually streaming, which is pretty cool. I wasn't sure that I would have expected any less, but it's still pretty neat. Anyway, so our thing clearly didn't work. I don't know why it didn't work, but it didn't, because I tweeted something out and I expected this to come back. So now we have to toy around with this and find out why it didn't work. So I'll get out of here. Now let's look at the filters and let's see if we can dissect this a little bit more. Oh wait, hold on. I'm going to double check, make sure I didn't do something stupid like misspell my name. From Brian Dev. All right, so that did work. I also want to console.log. Sometimes I like doing that, just throwing it on the bottom to make sure that, like, okay, yeah, it started. So I would expect that this is working now. But now I have to figure out why this doesn't. So if we do watching now, love or hate. Actually, let's look at the, see, mentioning Twitter, politics filter safe. This is kind of cool. With a negative attitude, asking a question mark. I'm not sure if this does that kind of sentimental analysis, but that would be pretty neat. Let's do a quick Google search, actually. Maybe that will help us out. Twitter stream API username. Consuming streaming data, standard stream parameters. Oh, there's a follow here. Interesting. I might have actually seen this earlier. Follow and a comma-separated list of user IDs indicating the users whose tweets should be delivered on the stream. Following protected users is not supported. I'm not a protected user, so I wouldn't expect that to be the case. So anyway, I'll drop this in the chat too for those interested. And so let's try and change our track to follow. So if I change this, I'm actually going to pull this out here, because then I could do track from, if I could spell Brian Dev, I want to keep that just off to the side so I know that something else is going to work. And then we're going to do follow and I'll do Brian Dev. Then I'm going to comment this out. And then I can replace this, because this just accepts a JavaScript object. We'll replace this with our OPT variable and restart. I broke something. What'd I do? What did I do? What did I do? I'm sure something dumb, but status code 406. Okay, let's try this in line then. I can't imagine why that would be an issue, but it's like that. Okay, so it still broke. So it doesn't like follow. Hmm. I don't even know what a status code 406 is actually. I know 400 is failure of some kind. That's interesting. Status 406. Not acceptable. It's mentioning the user. Unless I have to do an @ try that. No, still didn't like that. Interesting. This sometimes can be the rougher part of trying to do these things live, is because now I have to do research and find out why this is broke, and I honestly have no idea. So I thought I had done some due diligence in figuring out how this stuff worked, but oh well. Standard streaming API, do delimited. Actually, I wonder if there's follow, comma separated, tweet should be delivered on stream. Let's look and see what the API reference. I want to see what other follows we might possibly have stream. Decahost stream, nope. What happened? Follow. Nope, that's not going to help me. Search the developer documentation for stream. Labs, filtered stream, sampled stream, Decahose. Decahose, that sounds like a cool thing. I'll work on the Decahose stream. Filtered stream, quick start, REST client, running Postman might help. Okay, this might give us some sample code to work off of. That'd be pretty cool. Sometimes I just have a tendency of just scrolling through it and eyeballing the code, trying to find out what I'm looking for. Really, what I'm interested in is format equals compact. There's that. Stream filter. Let's go back and look here. No. Where's that other link we had? The basic stream parameters. I'm going to bring this guy back up. Paste this in here. Track. Let's go back into our code. I want to take a look at the statuses. Filter. So, from what I'm seeing, this should work though. I would think. I mean, the problem is I can't see exactly what is being pulled in, and I really don't want to have to do this manually because authenticating against the Twitter API is a pain in the butt. I've looked at it before when I was writing some script for PowerShell, and it was like, it wasn't fun. Then again, I might be just trying to take a shortcut out of this. List of user IDs. Unless my username is not my user ID, which could be the case. It could be. So I wonder if I can get my user ID. I wonder if there's an easy way to do that without having to go through the API. Let's see. Twitter API get user ID. I want to get one about me. Subscribe. No, we don't want to subscribe. Follow, search, and get users. Users, look up users, show. User show. Let's try this one. There's writing information about a user required by user ID or screen name parameter. Okay, that might help. So let's try, hold on, let's go back into here and I'm gonna do, I don't wanna do stream, I wanna do, where's the other Twitter client? Twitter client dot, let's see, let's just do, we're gonna get rid of some of the stream stuff because I don't wanna do that quite yet. I'm looking at some of my reference code I have over here. Twitter dot get. Honestly, a lot of this API seems like it's simplifying some of the process of building out the actual HTTP requests. But ultimately, I'm thinking it's that authentication piece that it's really, I guess, that's helping. So if I look at this, users.show, user ID, screen name. The ID who either screen name is required for this method. Screen name. The screen name of users who return a result, either an ID or a screen name is required. So I'm guessing we can probably use screen name. Let's try this. Screen name, because that's the parameter we're expecting. I'm gonna do Brian. I'm gonna do mine. Find out my user ID. I think this thing needs a callback. Looking at this, yeah, it needs a callback. Let's do and something. I don't know what something's gonna be. Actually, looking at this, my sample code, it looks like it's in this order: error, the tweet response, and the full HTTP response. So I don't know that we need. Let's do tweet res, and then HTTP res. Okay. So let's console.log. This isn't a tweet, so I don't know why they would be that, but I don't really know. We'll get both of them out and see what we can get. So tweet res and console.log HTTP res. Let's just see what this does. So save, restart, see what happens. Ah, okay. Okay, all right, that's a lot of stuff. Yeah, and okay, this bottom piece here. All right, yeah, stop. All right, kill it. That's okay. We'll start back up again. So that bottom is the full, looks like that was the actual HTTP library response. I don't know that I care about that. We're gonna get rid of that. We're gonna get rid of this here. No. Come on, dude, killing me. PowerShell is killing me today. It keeps doing stuff that I don't expect it to do. Line this guy back up again, and third time's a charm. Let's do npm start. All right. So this got a bunch of information about my profile, and notice the ID is this guy. That looks to be my ID. So we're gonna go ahead and click on that. Actually, this is right click. Right click is copy in PowerShell. Click is copy in PuTTY, because that's not confusing. So now I'm gonna move this guy down here. I don't need this here anymore. So we're going to comment that out for a minute. We're going to uncomment this, and we're going to change this to that, because that looks like that is my ID. Let's go ahead and start that guy back up. Save it. Nope, still didn't like it. Oh, wait, hold on. I got this down here still. Change it to OPT. Follow. Okay, no errors. So that is a step in the right direction. Let's find something else totally random to tweet out. Oh, something broke. I might have been a little... Man, I thought that was going to work. Follow ID. Really did think that was going to work. I'm going to restart this. Just for the sake. Oh, I scrolled up. Maybe it did work. I'm going to derp. Sometimes I have a bad habit of like ever so slightly nudging the mouse wheel, and it tends to cause it to bump up a little bit. And yeah, it caused me all sorts of headaches. So let's go and let's tweet out. Actually, you know what cool project I started looking into earlier? Puppeteer. That's what it's called, which was really cool. And I think this guy did a really, really nice example. So for those of you who don't know, Puppeteer is a library that you can use to automate browser stuff, right? So the thing I was working on earlier is I had a website I'm looking to do some work on. Just we'll leave it at that. But it was really, I didn't really know of a good way to create the authentication request without manually doing it on the website. So what I had done in the past is I wrote kind of a custom web browser using WPF on Windows. And I would navigate to the things I wanted to do, click some button, it would automate some things, but whatever. This thing, from what I understand, is since it's headless, I can write all my JavaScript code, because it's all written in JavaScript, write all my code, and I'm going to try and run it in a Docker container and then be able to send commands to it using my Discord bots. So that's going to be pretty cool. I might share some of that stuff out. Not everything, but who knows. So we're going to share this thing out. Cool collection of examples for Puppeteer. All right, I don't know if this is going to be too many characters. There we go. Okay, so that's been tweeted out. And, there we go. Got it. See? This is exactly what I just tweeted out, which is what I wanted. Very cool. All right. So we have the basic functionality of streaming things in to our Twitter Discord bot thing. Now comes the tricky part, tying these two things together. So let's uncomment our stuff up here, and this is going to get our bot back online. Actually, I'm going to stop NodeMon because I don't want it to keep firing things off when I don't want it to. Bring this up here. I'm actually going to change this to a constant, and I'm going to change this to a constant because I don't want these things changing ever. Move some lines up. Alt up or down in VS Code, at least the way that I have mine mapped, will do that, and it's pretty cool. So client on ready. Okay, so this is the Discord bot, and this is going to do, I don't care about ping pong. Let's get rid of that. What I do want is I want this right here. If a message comes in with bang follow, instead of just replying, we're going to get rid of that. So I can split that up. What I want to do is basically do some of this cool stuff that I got down here. So I'm going to wrap. First thing I want to do is, because I like using asynchronous code, is I'm going to wrap this into a promise and use that up here so this way we can wait on it. So let's do client on the first. Let's see, I want to async this, and that is going to make this call or this function asynchronous. Now, for my Twitter client.get, what I'm going to do is let's do function get Twitter user ID. That's going to accept a screen name and we'll make this async. And neat little trick. If actually there was a guy that reached out to me on Coding Mentor that I'd really wish was in here right now if he's not, because I'm going to show how to turn any function basically into an asynchronous function. Asyncs and promises are kind of the same thing in JavaScript. I'm sure there are little nuances. You know, JavaScript experts don't shoot me over that, but if you async a function and you return new promise and resolve reject are the two things that you want to pass back, or like the two, I guess these are both technically callbacks, and that's how they resolve or reject the promise. So you do that, and then we're going to take this and bring this in here. And now, because this accepts, hold on, we can get rid of this, and we're going to make this a screen name, which is our parameter that's passed through. And we don't want to console log this out. I don't care about that. The tweet response, I guess we're going to put user info here. Very important to make your variables something you understand, so when you're coming back to your code later, you can actually see, know what you're doing or talking about. If error, the first thing I'll do is on console.error, the error. Actually, I think it's error. And then I want to reject, no, actually I don't need to do that because we're going to do that up top. We're going to reject it with error. So with this, if something fails with our promise, or basically up top, we're going to put it in a try-catch block. The rejection is going to tell it's basically going to throw the error up top with the reason that this error, with the error object that was thrown inside of the callback for this particular function, this Twitter client.get. So this is the callback right here at the end. This is just an arrow function, but you can do it just like a function, whatever. I just like arrow functions better because I think they're cleaner and it's less verbose a little bit. The error object that's passed through is always, in most callbacks, or if not all, it's kind of best practice for it to be the first one, the first parameter that's passed in, and then you kind of chain whatever else you want after that. So basically, if anything comes through in this error, otherwise it's going to return null, I want to reject the promise with an error. Otherwise, I want to resolve with user info. Actually, you know what I can resolve with is user info. Let's see what we had up here. Since we're getting just the user ID, it looks like on the right-hand side, if you see right here, the object that's returned under this user info, I could just do user info.id. I don't need to resolve the whole thing. I just want the ID. That's all I want. So that will be fine there. That is done. Options. I don't want our options here. Well, we're going to use this. How are we going to use this? See that? It would be a comma-separated list of IDs. I wonder if there's a way I can stop the stream and restart it, because what I think I'm going to need to do is when I get a new request to follow, I'm going to want to get the user ID because that's what's required here. But I need to stop the stream. Stream.on. I got to look at this Twitter client.stream. I want to stop it. Create this because this says could be a comma separated list of IDs. Basically inject it in here, and I'm going to keep track in memory up top for now. What I'm doing. I eventually am going to probably offload this to a database. I don't know if I'm going to have time to do that today. I'm in this for the long haul. I've got another 2 hours that I plan to do this. If we can get it done sooner, cool. We might do some other cool stuff, but 2 hours is kind of what I'm aiming for. At least 2 hours from now, if my voice can keep up with it. So we'll get this. We're going to store it in memory just in an array. When I do a new follow, I might do an unfollow. Basically, I'm going to have to get that ID, store it in an array, and then join it all together into a single string to pass into that follow object. When that when the options is passed into the stream, it's going to start following all those same things. Now, this is going to give us, I don't know, negligible downtime where it's not actually going to be monitoring the streams, and I don't know if there's a way to just inject it into there. I don't want to create additional streams because that's going to eventually cause memory issues. We want to keep this as slim as possible. So, anyway, enough rambling. So we're going to get rid of that. We don't need that anymore. Status user timeline. I probably don't need that anymore. And let's go into the node modules. I'm going to creep on this Twitter library. Let's kind of poke around a little bit, and we're going to look for stream. Let's see, we got it. Twitter.prototype stream. See, there's a user stream. Prototype stream methods callback. Can I stop the stream though? Stream.destroy. Fix me. Should we emit? That is probably what I'm interested in doing. Quest on. Let's try that. Stream.destroy is probably what I'm interested in doing. Did that accept any parameters, or was it, no, it was just destroy. All right. So we're also going to async function stop stream and async function start stream. We're going to keep the stream inside. I'm actually going to put this closer to the top. And we're going to, because I want to store this outside of everything, so this way we can access it from multiple functions. I suppose well, no, this is probably the way to go. So we're just going to create an empty variable here of stream, and we'll leave it like that. So that is up there. So start stream, we're going to do stream equals that, and options. We're going to need that options thing. Options equals that. And we're going to do this. Stream.on. That we'll start with just the console before we start bringing this into our Discord bot. Oh, weird. All right, so we know that's my user ID, but I don't actually want that necessarily here. What the next thing I want to do is stream.destroy. And oh, we want to wrap this. I don't know that I really care to wrap this. There's nothing here, so we're going to get rid of the async here. We don't need to wait on that. We just want it to stop. Maybe we'll... maybe we can force this thing to sleep for about 500 milliseconds or something like that, just to make sure the stream's actually destroyed. Never mind. We'll run dangerous and see what we do from that. So we're going to do the same thing here. Return new promise. Resolve reject. Arrow function, and we're going to do this guy here. This shouldn't actually reject. I'm just going to wrap this whole thing in this promise. This should never actually reject because it doesn't look like it has... Hold on a second. Where did this come from? That came from there. That came from there. Where did this come from? Array brackets. So we don't want to reject this. We want to console.log it, and then we're just going to resolve, I think. Resolve nothing. This might even be overkill for this particular function, but that's okay. We want to also create an empty array. Let following IDs equals empty array. And we're going to leave that like so for the time being. Actually, you know what I'm going to want to do is we're going to start stream down here. So this thing actually starts up. But I want to, let's see, if following IDs dot length equals 0. Should be greater than 0. Should never be less than. I wouldn't even know how you do that with an array. Then do this. Else console.log no IDs to follow. Sad face. And resolve anyway. So if there are any IDs up top for it to follow, it will try and follow them. Otherwise, leave it alone. Just, say, hey, I can't do anything, right? because we do want to start this thing up with the actual application. So when the application starts, we want it to pull in our IDs and start doing that right away. The only reason we wanted to wrap this inside of a function is so this way we can, when someone requests to follow something new, we can say, so we can stop the stream, insert the new ID, and then start it up again with the new ID. All right, so I'm starting to lose my words here. I might take a break here in a second. So client.error, okay, this is all the Discord stuff. So inside of here, we want to say if follow, we want to do try. We're going to actually do this in 2 try catch blocks. So we're going to go, I would think that that's going to return null if I can't find the user, but we're going to test that here in a little bit. On try let user ID equals get Twitter user ID, and then we're going to pass in args1, which should be the text that follows bang follow. So if user ID equals null, actually, you know what? This is a good reason why we'd want to check here. So if user info, I guess if not user info, I'm not going to explicitly check to see if it's null or undefined, but it should coerce to that regardless. I want to reject with user not found. And then we don't have to do that check here. We can assume that's going to be the case. But we can catch it here with an error. So if error equals, actually, you know what we probably could do? We can make this easier. Reject -1. I think this should work. Error equals -1. We will do message.reply. Unable to find user name, right? Because we want to try and handle our errors as best as possible. So this is hopefully going to catch that particular error, and that's the only other thing. Okay, else we'll just do. We're going to console.log the error so I can see it, and then we're going to message.reply. I might have put too many C's or R's in there. I don't actually know, but whatever, you get the idea. So let get that thing. So that's going to be the user ID. And then actually I might be able to do this all in one try catch block. Almost that start stream is not going to cause an issue. Okay. So let user ID, and then we want to do user following IDs dot push, and we want to add user ID. Actually, you know what? This is a good instance of saying, let's see, let if following IDs dot find, and then user ID. I think we just need ID equals user ID dot reply. Already following, and then we'll put in that same args. So to explain what I did here and why I decided to do this is there might be a situation where you have multiple user IDs. And I don't know if that's going to cause a problem with Twitter Stream API. So what I'm doing here is I'm saying in our array of IDs, of Twitter IDs that we're following, if the ID exists, we're using find and with an arrow function. So we're saying if the ID that it found through the Twitter's API matches an existing ID inside of here, just reply and say we're already following it. Just don't even bother going through this whole process of trying to, do whatever. So I think the message that reply, and I don't know. So actually we want to return at that point. So we can break out of this. Because we don't want it to pass on to the next one. Then I think the last thing we need to do is do, let's see, stop stream and then start stream. I probably could wrap that into like a single restart stream and then call them both. I like that. Restart stream. And we're going to make that right now. I don't think we need to await or async or any of that. Actually, no, we should. And I forgot we need to await our get Twitter user IDs up here too, so we can wait for that thing to finish pulling through. So await restart stream. And we have all of our stuff here, so I'm going to do async function restart stream. We don't need anything there because we're gonna do some of that logic down in the start stream. We want to stop stream, and we want to start stream. We want to await this. All right, and if all of this fails successfully, we want to finally g.reply now following and args1. So we can tell the user that this all came through successfully and everybody is happy about it. All right, so in our restart stream, we want to stop. We got stream.destroy. We got here. All right, the last thing we need to do is we need to actually join the all of the IDs that we're following in our array up here. We just need to join them. I think you just do array.join, and then you can pass in a comma, which will concatenate all of the IDs that we have in there into one big long happy string. So bar following, let's see, following joined equals following IDs dot join. And we're going to pass in that guy here. So there's your separator, comma separate it, and then we can come in here and we can do following join. Following joined. All right, on the surface, I think this thing is looking pretty good. We have nothing to start off with. Stepping through this again. Here's all of our setup and configuration. We're leaving the stream up here so we can assign that down below and access it from multiple functions. Client on ready, so as soon as the Discord bot signs in, it's going to drop a console message. This is all of our logic we just kind of walked through and talked about. I'm going to get rid of that comment there because we don't need it. But we're going to find the Twitter ID using the first argument that follows, assuming that is the username. If it's already in the list, just return. Otherwise, we're going to restart. We're going to add the, oh, here we go. If we got to following IDs. .push user ID. Makes sense to step through code instead of just running it first. So we need to add that to the array before we restart the stream. Restart the stream, not following. Okay, if there is an error and the error returns of -1, we will say unable to find the user just because that's what we said here. What I'll probably end up doing is creating a constants object with a bunch of error messages in it. In C# they call that an enum. We'll create something similar here. Otherwise, we were just going to log it out and say, yeah, I don't know what happened. We'll figure it out later, right? So if something does fail, which this should not affect this because we're catching the error and handling it appropriately. But if it, for whatever reason, that does error out, then it will console log out the message from the Discord client here. And then we're going to start up our client. Everything down here is all just kind of extra functions. Actually, no, what we're going to do is we're going to bring some of this closer to the top. I know these technically are hoisted. Yeah, it should be fine. So that'll log in. We're going to start the stream later on and then finally just throw a message and say we are done. And then if this all works, I should be able to drop a message into my Discord server with the name of somebody from Twitter, and it will start streaming in their messages only into the console for now. So let's test that. npm start. It broke. Why did it break? Start stream. So the stream did start, which I didn't necessarily want it to start here, so I don't know why it did. .js, I'm just making sure I am correct here. I don't see anything that immediately sticks out to me that says that that is the spot, but I feel like that is the spot. Let's comment this out. Let this thing go again. See what happens. Okay, so it is something in this function that's causing us an issue. So if following links to, oh, here we go. It's greater than 0. We don't want it to equal 0. We want it to be greater than 0. And actually, to make this code a little bit cleaner, we will do equals 0. And we're going to swap this logic a little bit. So instead of that, I'm going to do no IDs to follow, and we're going to just resolve here. Okay, resolve. So resolving is a way of just telling the promise to stop, which we're going to resolve down here too. But if this resolve is hit first, it's not really a reject because nothing's failing. But by calling this resolve here, this should break out of this here. So let's save that and restart this and see what happens. No, it still broke. Why did it break? No IDs to follow, done. So it did actually still do this. Maybe I'm wrong. Could be wrong. I kind of figured that would have caught it, but oh well. So, okay, there we go. This is a regular if-else block. Works just fine. Does return work? That's actually a good question. I don't know that it will inside of this. I might just cause the promise to go indefinitely, but it doesn't hurt to try, and it only takes a minute. Thanks for joining, Alex. Appreciate it. Let's try and return there. Hey, look at that, it did. Thanks for a suggestion. I like this a little bit better. I don't like if-else blocks if I can avoid it. I like trying to catch those things a little bit farther towards the top because it just makes the code look a little bit cleaner. So let's try this thing out. In my Discord server, I'm actually just going to follow myself. So follow Brian MMDev. Unknown error occurred. Why did this happen? Cannot read property destroy of undefined. All right, so let's throw if stream, then do stream destroy. And try again. No IDs to follow, fine, that's good. And we'll do follow Brian MMDev. Now following Brian MMDev. All right, so this on the surface seemed to have worked. So now I'm going to go back into here, and what is something cool we should share out? On Spotify, I found this really cool 90s grunge music because that's some of my favorite genre of music. So let's share this thing out. See what this is going to do actually on Spotify. Spotify 90s grunge. Why not? Go for it. That got sent out. Spotify 90s grunge. There we go. Cool. So, whoa. Screw my microphone. Still sound okay? Still look good? The audio levels look good, so it's looking all right to me. So now we got it going into the console. The last thing we want to do is we want to drop it into... I'm now streaming on Twitch playing just chatting. Did that just come through under mine? Because that's not exactly what I was expecting to happen. So you remember how earlier I made some comments about I don't know what some of these automated things are going out and doing some weird stuff? Yeah, it's something just blasted. I have no idea what said I was streaming on Twitch, but apparently it says I'm streaming on Twitch. Unless it like fell apart on me for some reason. Cool collection. Okay, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, so this does seem to be working. I'm looking, for those who can't see, I'm just looking at my Twitter stream off to the right. So that does seem to be working as expected. Now we want to get into posting it to the channel. So instead of doing a console.log, let's see, in our event handler here, what would I want to do? Client is my Discord client. I want to do client channels. Let's see, how can I do this? Ideally, in a perfect world, what I want to do is I'd want to log the channel that I want this thing to reply to. But I think I'm going to make that a constant for now. Channel out. Let's see, channel ID out. All right, so inside of Discord, if you have Discord developer mode on, you can right click on a lot of elements and say copy ID. So this is going to copy the unique ID of this particular channel. And if I go inside to my channel and out, paste that, there's the ID channel. Okay, so hold on, we're going to stop that because I don't want you to keep going. All right, cool. So that, I want to get that channel. So client.channels, there's a way to get channels. I can't remember how to do it. Get, I think it's just this channel ID out. Send maybe? What do I got here? Client, created a client. This is not going to help me. Destroy event. This is IntelliSense just kind of reading in whatever it can possibly get. So let's just do send, and we'll see. Actually, hold on a second. I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to undo everything that I just did, because I want to see. Damn it! I should have saved there. Oh well, go back to where we were. And we're going to I'm just going to send the event. Whatever, we'll figure it out later, right? I'm going to console.log that event too. Oh, you know where I got this code from? I remember now. I remember. So inside of here, this event and event.text. That's where I got it from. So event.text is probably what we're looking for. I'm guessing event probably is like what actually happened, whether it was a retweet or something. So we'll get rid of that for now, and we'll do event.text. Fair warning, I don't know that this is exactly how I get the channel and send a message to it. I'm kind of shooting in the dark on that one. So let's start this guy up. You know, it'd be a really easy way to keep track of those IDs is just to log them into a static file that's sitting next to this application. Definitely not what I want to do when it goes into production-ish. I don't really if I'd call this production, but you get what I'm saying. I'm just going to copy this here. So do that, paste that, go. Now following. All right, cool. That's following. Let's same thing. Let's find something cool that we can post out to Twitter. I'm getting rid of that. Discord developer, no. Standard operators, I don't know. Give me some ideas, chat. I got a couple of people hanging out with me, so if anybody has anything interesting, they find. Let's go into Feedly. Let's see what we got in here. Let's go to dev. There's all my dev stuff. Why JavaScript is eating HTML. Well, that's not a catchy headline if I've ever heard one. But let's go ahead and share that out. Bell's always changing. Whatever. Okay, I'm not really interested in what this is, but per se, I just want to share something out and see what happens. So that got shared out. It worked. Holy cow. There you go. So that's exactly what I would expect. What I'm probably going to want to do from here actually is put this inside of these embed cards. So it looks like Discord manually made, or automatically rather, made me one of these embed cards based on a link that's here. I want to do that manually so I can say, like right now you're seeing Socializer Bot, and it took the text from the actual event and it posted it through. But we don't know if you're following 5, 10, 15 people, we don't know who exactly posted this without having some additional information on there. Which, come to think of it, is going to be a little difficult, I think. All right, we need to find out if there's any additional information we can get from this event. So I'm going to console.log this event out. And before I save this, I got my ID a little farther up here. There we go. So I'm going to save this off to the side. And I'm actually going to fudge this to start off with. We're just going to paste that in there. Save that. Bring this guy down. We're logged in, and I'm already following, like, because I have this guy in here, it's already following this person. So the neat thing is, like, if you don't care about the bot, so to speak, and you just wanted to, like, copy this project down from my repository once I'm all done with it, it would be pretty easy to do this and just save it. You can set these all manually, whatever, right? Like I said earlier on, I'm going to try and use Azure DevOps to swap out those variables using their config tools. But you could hard code those things in there and not use that. You could hard code your IDs of people or even your names. You can hard code names and loop through that and just inject it in automatically. And then through something like an Azure DevOps build and release tool, you could just make it, change it, release it, boom, it's following all the new IDs. So I want to make this a little more user-friendly for the people that I hope to use this thing. So that's why I'm going through all the extra effort of trying to let it be controlled by the bot. But anyway, so yeah, that's saved, that's there. Let's see if we can trigger another event. Let's find another article inside of my Feedly list of things that I read on a daily basis. Loves me not, no. VS Code integration with Azure. Oh, that sounds pretty cool. SQL Notebook. I don't even know what a SQL Notebook is. That sounds interesting. Let's go ahead and share this out. Create a SQL, a whole notebook of SQL. If I want a NoSQL notebook, think about that. And here's our event. So we're going to cherry pick some things out of here. So there's the text. There's the source. Here's the user. And here's the screen name. Very cool. I'm assuming there's a date timestamp in here as well, created at. Here, so we might be able to parse that into a date time that we can put inside of the embed. All right, neat. So we're making some progress. So instead of just sending out the text, I think I can just turn this into a embed by doing var. You know what? Actually, hold on a second. I found a really cool tool the other day. So like I said, I've been obsessing a little bit much about these dev tools, Discord embed visualizer. I thought this was pretty cool. I know Discord just changed the way that a lot of their stuff looks, but this still will kind of be helpful in doing what we're trying to do. So content, we don't necessarily want that. Let's do inside of here, description maybe would be a good one. So that we're using the description. We'll use the URL to get the URL and paste that link in there. Let's start there. Let's copy this out. You know what actually I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a separate function. So function build embed. And this is going to accept the tweet event. So we'll paste all this in here. And we'll do var embed equals, let's see. Actually, no, I could just return this whole thing. Return that object. I don't want the content. Comment that out. Title, I don't want necessarily right away. Description, we'll do tweet event.text. Okay. URL, see if we have a URL in here. There's my URL. We don't have a link to this particular tweet, do we? Hashtags, oh, of course, it's down in there a little bit. I wonder if we can grab the first URL. And what we'll do here is we'll log out json.stringify this thing. Provided there's not any kind of recursion going on inside of these URLs, which would be very odd for it to do that. We should be able to see this thing here, and then I can open up a Sublime window and we'll blow this thing out. Build embed. No, tweet event. All right, so we're gonna do, I'm gonna fudge this for a second here. We'll do tweet event. Dot entities. Dot URLs, and we're just gonna get the first URL. I don't even know what that is, but we're gonna get it. Timestamp. I wonder if we could just grab this created at, because that again would be really cool. That'd be very useful. Tweet event dot created at, and I'm gonna get rid of this color. We could put a blue on there at some point, but get rid of the footer, get rid of the thumbnail, the image. Image could be interesting if it's shared out with an image. We could revisit that at some point. I'm not overly concerned with that now. Author is a really, really good spot for doing some of this other stuff. So like in my author, what we can do is we can do tweet event dot, let's see what we got here. User dot name. We'll do screen name because that seems to be how Twitter kind of replies. We can actually put some of this in from, we can put the screen name here. Yeah, we'll do screen name there. We'll grab the user's URL. We'll grab URL, icon URL, profile, looks like profile background URL. Well, profile background image URL, no. Banner. Actually, we could probably open this up. Oh, link. Let's copy this. I want to see what this image is actually. Go back in here. Where did that come from? Oh, I mean, it's part of Twitter. Profile image. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Profile image URL HTTPS. I have a feeling you're going to need HTTPS. Let's copy this guy. Paste that in there. That is what I'm looking for. Right there. Profile image URL HTTPS. Tweet event user profile profile HTTPS. Okay. All right, so there's that. Do I need any fields at this point? I don't know that I do, so I'm going to comment all these out for the time being because I can always come back to them later and clean those up if I need to. If I want to have any more information inside here, we can add it at that time. But I think this is sufficient. So what we've got is the description, the actual text of the tweet is going to be added to the description. The first URL inside of this is going to be added here. We're going to look at that a little bit closer to find out what the right URL is for the tweet itself. Timestamp is the tweet event created at, and then some various information about the person. So in the author, we're doing screen name, URL, and the profile image. So I would hope that it would pull in all the basic profile stuff from Twitter and embed this inside of here. All right, all that said, we now have we should have an embed object that we can just pass in here, and I would hope this works. Let's comment that out so we get our new code in there, save this. This restarted, we're logged in, so this is all happy. Now let's go find something else cool to throw out on Twitter. Fetching millions of rows with streams in Node.js. That sounds pretty cool. Let's share this thing out. I would like to know how to get millions of streams. I don't even know what a stream is. No, I do, I know. Just kidding. So that's out. This is here. There's our event. So actually what we're going to do is I'm going to take this and we're going to open a new Sublime window. And window. Whoa. Invalid form body. Could not interpret URL. Oh, I see. So the embed URL kind of got screwed off me, which is fine because oh, this doesn't like this either. Let's see, JSON, set syntax JSON. Oh, you're not gonna like this. Why are you doing to me? Let's get description. Let's get rid of all this stuff because it looks like it's freaking out on something. Oh, I don't know what's going on here. Anyway, the important thing we're looking at is URLs. So let's go. We look at our object earlier. URLs and is followed by user mentions. So URLs is, I saw it. Here's URLs. And where is user mentions? Right there. So this should be that whole object there. We're going to get that out of here. I'm going to open my Sublime up again. Get rid of all that stuff because I don't really care about that. Don't know that I can blast this out like this, but I think if I put brackets over there. There we go. Display URL, expanded URL. So the first object dot expanded URL is what we're interested in. So first object dot expanded URL. We should put some stuff in there to check to make sure that that actually exists first, but for the sake of argument for now, this is fine. Oh, you know what's interesting though I noticed is this isn't the actual URL to the image. This is the URL to this thing here. That's the shortened URL. So I'm really surprised that we can't get the URL directly to the tweet. Unless I am like just missing something altogether. I suppose I could generate it based on the tweet ID. Then again, maybe I'm just overthinking this. Let's forget about it. Let's ignore the URL for now. We'll come back there. If we need to, we probably can create some kind of function to generate that URL. But we're going to leave that there for now. So we'll save this. Should refresh. I broke it. How did I break it? I don't even know what it is that I did. Okay, cool. We're back up and running. Oh, you can see some of the stuff is actually coming in, which is pretty cool. So let's go and share something else out. Let's go find unseen performance costs of modern CSS and JS libraries, headless CMS. I wanted to do a headless CMS, actually. I run all my stuff off of WordPress, and it's pretty cool, but it's kind of just the whole practice of trying to get a headless CMS up and running sounds cool. That's a sponsor thing. I don't know that I like that. That's not an article that's going to provide any real value to anybody. How and why you should build Internet of Things devices with Node.js. Read Code Camp is always a good resource for material, so we'll go ahead and share that guy out. And let's see what we get back. No bomb. No bomb. Good. Here's our embed here. Interesting. I definitely like this format, how you can actually see videos and stuff that's sent out. This is cool. This is nice because you get some information like Brian MMDev there. That's neat and that's very helpful, so you can see who did that. So now how do we combine the best of two? You know, I bet you if we just took the content, threw it up there, and I don't know that I like that either. Not gonna lie, I'm really kind of running out of steam here. I was hoping to go for at least another hour or so, but yeah, it's been a lot going on. There has been a lot going on lately. There's always a lot going on. Anyway, so let's try and actually see what this URL can come out to be. Save that, restart it. Let's find something, because I really would like to get something similar to this, but all combined into one cool thing here. Let's find something else. Barrels of one rogue developer. Writing Azure functions with Function Monkey. I don't know what a Function Monkey is. I don't know, this is cool. Let's share this out. This is the not so fun part of development. Sometimes it's trial and error over and over again to get the right output. So yeah, even with the URL, it didn't really make too big of a difference. So, because it did add the URL in there, but it didn't, I'm not really sure what that did. Yeah, that goes right to my website. Let's take a look at the embeds documentation, see what else we might possibly be able to use. Because there is another website that I do like using for these embeds. Let's see. This birdie0.github.io. He or she has made a pretty cool embed thing. This URL, I'm guessing that is for an image, not for something we can put in there. URL just embeds URL, and if you put a title, it adds URL to the title. I am probably not going to get my desired output, which I don't necessarily know that that's a bad thing. It's just not quite exactly what I wanted. In a perfect world, you know, I suppose I can just put this inside here. Just add the username in here. The inside of here, what do I got set up here? This is what I set up. So this is, oh, that's announcements. Let's see, my Twitters. So it just links the tweet and then lets everything else be like that. That's not a bad approach. But then I'm looking at generating the tweet and putting it in there like that. So maybe we do that next time. All right. I was hoping to wrap a lot of this thing up. There's a good chunk that's been done. I think I'm pretty happy with the progress so far. But at this point, I don't think that I'm going to finish this tonight. I really seriously am running out of steam. Getting really tired. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do is we're going to do another one of these things next week. Maybe Tuesday or Thursday. Not entirely sure what day quite yet, but I think we made some good progress tonight, and I learned some pretty cool stuff about this Twitter API. So I'm overall happy. I'm going to do some cleanup on this. Here, we can do this live actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an app.config.js. JSON, actually. The reason I'm creating this like this is because Azure DevOps does have a built-in step inside of their build tools where it'll swap out, it'll do its configuration replacement on config transformation on this file specifically, and it can be configured pretty easily. So we're going to go in here, and I'm going to do, we're going to open a new object. I'm going to do Twitter, and let's get rid of that. Make this another object, and we'll make this key. Actually, you know what I can do is I can just come into main.js and copy a lot of this stuff out of here. We'll have to put quotes around some of this stuff, but there's like that, quote that. I had to go using single quotes here. It doesn't like that. Quote that. Quote that. So all I'm doing is I'm creating a config.json file to be used later down the road. This just needs to be regular old JSON, and we're also going to do Discord token. Actually, you know what we can do is we can do create a whole separate section here. So Discord, and we'll do token. Let's see, bot token, and we're gonna bring in this guy here. And we'll create, I'm going to bring this channel ID in here as well for now. We are eventually going to make this dynamic where people can register where they want the thing to go to. But for the sake of argument now, I suppose the channel's not going to, I can't really change that, so that's not that big of a deal because no one's going to have access to that anyway. It's my own little private testing server, and no one can do what they want with it. I close this out. I don't care about this. All right. So Twitter, I don't need that anymore. Don't need this anymore. That's done. But I can do const config equals require. So this is going to import that JSON file that we just created. Oh, actually, we're going to put this inside of the source. That's going to import that. And we can get rid of a lot of this stuff here. So instead of here, we can do config.twitter. Actually, you know what's really neat? Because of the way that we set this up, we can get rid of all this stuff and just do config.twitter. Because that is going to mimic the exact same object that we had set up there before with all the same values and everything. So that we can do like that. That we can do config.discord.bot token, I think it is. Double check that. Bot token and channel ID out. Config.discord.channel ID out. All right, so now we have no more secrets inside of here. And in my git ignore, I'm going to say ignore app.config.json. So we're going to ignore that file locally, but what I am going to do is I'm going to create a new file and say app.config.json .sample, and we're going to copy all this into here. So this way when somebody comes in, they know what they're supposed to be putting inside of here, and we'll give them some pointers here too. You know what I want to do is, I like this being an actual JSON file, so we'll do app. Do sample app.config.json like that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. So now people know what to fill in here and replace, you know, rename this. We'll put some of this stuff into the README at some point. So that's cool. Now I get to go on stream and get the fun of recycling all these keys because I decided to do this all live on stream, which is fine. I needed to do that, but yeah, this is good. So we're going to do, let's see, progress on, we're going to commit this and push it up. Progress on streaming tweets to Discord channel. What are you doing here? Twitter test? Oh, I don't need this anymore. We're going to delete that too. Do some cleanup. Delete, delete, delete. Scratch. Scratch. I don't need a scratch folder anymore either. Clean up. All right, change is going out. So good. Put ourselves in a good spot. And the next week we will start expanding on this a little more. I might do a little bit throughout the week, just some of this little like piddly cleanup and stuff on getting these embeds working properly. But with all the main sections of the code, I'll be back next week at some point to talk more about this stuff. So thanks to everyone who joined for me tonight. I appreciate appreciate your time and interest in this, and thanks Alex Dev for making the suggestion to return out of the promise. I had no idea that was going to work. And with that, everybody have a great evening. Bye-bye.